So a really quick video on solving quadratics when you have variables on both sides of the equation like we do here. The first thing to remember is that we really want this form. We want this form. It's one of the easiest ways to solve a quadratic is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So that's the form that we like. That's the form that I like anyway. It makes it much easier to see this. So this is what I want to keep in mind, that that's the form that we want. So what I'm going to do here is this. We could have that form except for the fact that we have variables on both sides of the equation. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to move stuff over. I'm going to move this over first, plus this x squared. Then this minus this plus this is 0. But if you add these two, you get 3x squared minus 4x minus 8 is equal to x. Now I'm going to try to move this x over. So the way I'm going to move that over is just take negative x to both sides. Right? And that should give us 3x squared minus 5x minus 8 is equal to 0. Now we have this thing in this form, and that was our initial goal, was to get in this form. Now we can start trying to factor it. So we're going to go ahead and try to factor this a little bit. This is not the easiest thing in the world to factor, so I don't want to sit here and make it sound like it is. What is good is that if a is not going to be 1, 1 is the easiest way to do it. If it's going to be some non-1 value, it's best if we can get that value to be prime, and this one is. So 3 is prime, so we know this has to be 3x times x. There are no two other combinations that are going to give us this. Now we have to figure out what number times another number gives us negative 8. So I chose negative 8 times positive 1 equals 0. What I'm going to do before I do this, I'm going to make sure this works. So I'm going to go back to this in a minute, but I'm going to check this out. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times 1 is 3x. Negative 8 times x is 8x, so I had 3x's and negative 8x's, and that gave me my negative 5x's. What am I doing? I'm checking to make sure that this part right here worked, and it did. So now I'm going to go ahead and start solving. So I'm going to use the zero product property. The zero product property just tells us that if the product of two expressions is equal to 0, then one or both of those expressions must equal 0. So I'm going to take that out like that and say, when is 3x minus 8 equal to 0? I add 8 to both sides. I get 3x is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 3 and get x is equal to 8/3, otherwise known as 2 2/3, I think. Right? But I'll leave it this way. I think this is a perfectly good answer. And then I'm going to try this side over here and ask myself, when is x plus 1 equal to 0? And x is equal to negative 1. So my two solutions are x is equal to 1 or x is equal to 8/3. All right? Hey, thanks for watching the video. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, and your comments are always welcome. Thank you very much.